Hello, greetings from Waliczka, near Krakow in Poland once again. I haven't been here for a long time, maybe a month, maybe more, over a month I think. But it doesn't matter. It's been rather slow this summer because it's just really hot here in Poland. Even now, it's what is it today? The 28th of August, as I'm doing this, and it's a Wednesday afternoon. I think it's about 30 degrees, and it's been like that on and off since June, really. And I was looking at the forecast for next week earlier, and it's going to be the same. And we're going into September next week, so I can't see an end to this at the moment. It's horrible. And maybe I've said this before, so excuse me if I'm reiterating something here, but the world of music and the wheels that turn everything generally slow down in the summer anyway. To that end, it's absolutely terrible trying to sell anything during the summer months. I did, co-release this with SM Operations in June or July. I think I got these in July. The new Hunting Lodge 40th anniversary set, triple LP set of Nomad Souls. I did this in July, and I've still got 30 copies left here, but I was hoping there'd be fewer than maybe 5 copies left by now. But that's an example of how slow things are during the summer months. I hope they go. It's a really good set as well, and I don't want to spend too much time talking about that because I think my previous YouTube upload was dedicated to that. But it is a really good set, and I think it's a really good price as well. I will put another link to it below as well. If you're interested in post-industrial, maybe even experimental post-punk, because I think it's a kind of blending of the kind of ideas to a degree of the early to mid 80s, then that's a really fine set. And I think they're criminally underrated as well. I think they're quite a significant group in bridging the gap between the old, more sprawling electronics approach of really early industrial music, or what was to be known as industrial music, what was to become known as industrial music, and the more rhythmic stuff that came to prominence later. And although their own take on rhythms is very tribal, and I think has more in common with Flowers of Romance, by Public Image than Swans, for example. So really good album, and it looks fantastic. There's a nice booklet for a few extra pounds available with it as well. And again, there'll be a link below. Only 500 press, but I've got 30 copies, maybe 32 copies left here, and it would be nice to see them go. I just think they deserve good homes, Anyway, I'll just have a slurp of this before I continue. A little more Builder's tea, Yorkshire tea. I may have also said this last time, but Justin Mitchell of Cold Spring Records, and perhaps his wife Jo, was also responsible for this as well. So credit to her as well. But they sent me with the last package of records I received from them. They sent me a box of 240 Yorkshire tea bags. I've still got some smaller boxes at the moment as well, so I don't know when I'll get to them exactly, but presumably fairly soon. So, but really nice. And Yorkshire tea is, you can get it in one place here in Krakow, to my knowledge, but not always. But it is there from time to time. But it's really overpriced. So I tend not to buy from there. I tend to just buy them when I'm in England. Stuff as many as I can into a box and UPS it back to Poland. Oh, I probably shouldn't say, because you're not supposed to put food and drink in boxes. No, I don't do that. So I just put them in my suitcase. Anyway, yeah, I've just seen another slurp of that. And what was I saying? So yeah, summer is generally slow. Having said that, we're into September next week, and I thought last week it's time to start moving things once again, even though I could really do with a break. I've been saying that for a long time now, for at least a year and a half. And I think next year I do want to try to scale things back a little. I'm still getting behind too many releases, far too many releases for my wallet as well. I've stipulated this enough times. I'm not rich. I'm not wealthy. I don't have a trust fund or any of that shit. I work. I do teaching and proofreading, and beyond that, I just depend on people who support the labels directly. Pre-orders and direct orders, and that's how I've got my got Cargo Records in London doing distribution for me, as well as the help of a couple of other mail order outlets and distributors. Yeah, everything's really down to me. Mostly it's down to me and the people that support the labels. So if it all looks like or if people think there's money behind this, they're sorely mistaken, because there isn't. Anyway, despite that, I'm dealing with a few releases at the moment. So regarding CDs, the latest CDs in production are the Michael Cashmore Until the End of Vibration CD, his first CD for a while. Michael Cashmore, as many of you might know, was one of the former Current 93 collaborators, songwriters, you could even say, a main component in that group for many years. But for a long time now, he's been doing his own solo work as well. So I'm doing his latest CD. And there's also the new Kleistwahr CD as well, Where the Word Is Never. And that's in production at the same time. So I think both of those will be ready mid-September, the third week of September, as long as I can find money to pay the bill. So there we go. A few pre-orders have come in, so that they will be helping. But yeah, that's what I need to do anyway. I'm kind of joking, but yeah, I've got those coming up in mid-September. And what else can I say? Oh yeah, and I got test pressings for, I don't know where my copies have gone now, but for the compilation double LP, When Worlds Collide. I don't know where maybe here. Is that it? Yes. Oh. Looks like my filing system is not as bad. There you go. When Worlds Collide. I've got test pressings for that now, and that's been in the works for quite a while. And it's a nice double LP set that was originally designed to correspond with the the Otto event on May the 18th that I organised, at Cafe Otto in London. And it features mostly exclusive tracks from Final, Kleistwahr, Alternative TV, my group, Splintered, my group Theme, Sinestra, Nick Mott, who else? Bass Communion, Sion Orgon, Ashtray Navigations, Band of Pain. Can't remember what else is on there. Sorry, but a nice set, and nicely presented by Puppy 38 once again as well. The original idea was to do a compilation LP with the London show anyway, and some of the tracks that I received were just too long for me then to have space for as many of the artists I wanted. So it grew into a double LP set, which meant, unfortunately, that I had to delay things, but the test pressings arrived the week before last, or at least the first set of them did, and I still want to get another set, and I want a couple of artists or contributors to check them out before I proceed. So I think that will be happening in October, as indeed the final reissue, the overdue reissue of I Am the Dirt Under Your Fingernails will also be happening then. There are reasons for the delay of that, and partly for the delay of this, although I've just explained that, the main reason. As many of you might know, in May, I also released a Bass Communion CD. And this album, and I'm far from complaining about it because I'm not, I wish all my CDs were like this. That album went beyond my normal, parameters, let's say, with the label. When I do a CD, it usually appears in an edition of 300, 500, and 500 maximum. And I've still got, 100 copies sitting around for 6 months, 6 months later, maybe a year later, in some cases, 2 or 3 years later. So depending on who it is. And no detriment to any of the artists I work with there. It's just a sign of the times, and the Bass Communion kind of knocked me for six in some respects for several months while I was dealing, or mostly dealing with orders for that, and email inquiries and people chasing up their order, that they placed 3 weeks prior or whatever. And there were some problems as well with some UK orders. A number went missing as well, which didn't really help things. Anyway, all of my free time, or most of my free time that I would normally devote for the labels, was spent on Bass Communion. And again, I'd be very happy to do it again. I still hope Stephen Wilson will do a vinyl version, maybe a little more limited, maybe 750 or something, and maybe I'd keep just 200 for mail order or something myself, or for direct orders. But it was a lot of work, and because of that, I couldn't really focus on much else, and I was really, really tired as well. Between a dog, and all, a near 3-year-old child, home commitments, day-to-day commitments, work, teaching, proofreading, all of those things, and my still getting orders for other releases sometimes, and a daily daily emails that amount to about sometimes 50, 60, sometimes 20, you know. So lots of emails every day as well. And I always reply to all of them as well. Even if it's an unsolicited demo, and I just say sorry, but you know, no time. And I really don't. I don't ask for any demos. And you know, unless you've got some Beatles rarity or something that I know is gonna, you know, sell. And not that I only put stuff out. Well, obviously I don't put stuff out that sells. But I only put stuff out that I like. But I like some Beatles, so you know, before anybody says anything. Yeah. Unless it's something, you know, that I know, you know, could be eased into the schedule and do okay or well enough for maybe well enough to even make a little money towards the next releases or something. I'm not, you know, I just don't have time. Also, the demos that I get, I'll go off at a little tangent here. They're always from some, and again, no disrespect to the artist there's always some, or nearly always some obscure Italian electroacoustic artist. Yeah, I can't sell that. I'd be lucky if 30 people were interested. So I do have to think in terms of things that might at least break even. Again, I'm not rich, and I don't want, you know, 200, 250 CDs sitting around for 5 years until they end up being thrown into a skip. So nothing against electroacoustic music from Italy or anywhere else. I like plenty of it. I've got plenty of it, but it's not going to do very well, you know. So it might do okay as a cassette, but despite some dabbling a few years ago, I've kind of got tired of the cassette thing. There are too many of them, and my energy is best spent on vinyl and CDs. Let's get back to that anyway. Final. I Am the Dirt Under Your Fingernails. That's finally, no pun, going to happen in October. Sorry again for the delay. I hoped it would be early this year, spring, but spring was dominated by preparations for the London event, Base Communion CD, and well, yeah, and that was it really, and my trip to England, you know, besides anything else that was going on. To that end, maybe as just to go into another slight tangent, the Grim Humour book, the third Grim Humour book, also got waylaid. It's nearly done, but I need to spend more time just finishing it. I've had pre-orders for it because I thought initially it would be ready this spring, and again it just got knocked for six. So by other commitments, you know, and I am just about to go back to that, and there will be news on that soon. I also just couldn't even write, or you know, it was Base Communion CD orders, dealing with emails, and then you know collapse with a usually a horror film or you know some kind of usually a horror film. You know, I've got plenty of other films lined up that are not horror that might go into the art category, but I needed stuff that, you know, would suit my my mental condition. You know, easy to watch for the most part. And you know, didn't require too much of this. So some of them did, but you know, and do. But a lot of horror films don't require too much brain power. So they're very, you know, and I can admire the you know the gore and the you know the graphics and everything else, and the mood and the tension and all those kind of ingredients, you know, that help make them what they are. But anyway, I'm kind of getting back on track. But I am ready to do a vinyl version of the Base Communion album at the same time, if Stephen concedes to it. We'll see. At the moment, he's thinking about it, so we will see. I hope he does do it, because I personally prefer vinyl, and I just think it will look fantastic, and and I know there are lots of people out there who want that album on vinyl as well, but let's hope that I at least get 1 or 2 months respite for the Michael Cashmore, the Kleistwahr, and upcoming Richard Young's CD. There's another one of those. There's another Reverse Image CD happening. There's also alternative TV. I need to talk to Mark Perry about what's happening with that. That's in the wings. And the 2 double LPs. There's also Andrew from Sleaford Mods has said that he'll do something on vinyl for Fourth Dimension again. I don't know what. Don't think he knows what yet either. But he did confirm a few days ago that he will do something. And he'll have the space soon to commit to that. So I've got a few things, coming up. And I think beyond those and the Grim Humour book, the 3rd Grim Humour book, I'll finally have a little time to sit back a little and think about where to go next. I might do another compilation. I don't know. Maybe something a little grander in scope. Maybe something similar to the double CD that I did. I don't know yet, which could help some of the newer artists, the more obscure ones, whose demos I get sometimes, just to give them a little lift if I like them enough. And I think that's where we are at for now. The CD deal is ongoing, but I'll also place links for the Michael Cashmore and Kleistwahr CDs below. I think the new Kleistwahr album is phenomenal as well. Really is good. And did I mention the deals as well? I've got 3 deals, 3 new deals in the shop at the moment, and one is the most expensive one. There are only 3 of those, but actually only 2 left now. Combination of older and new releases or recent releases, vinyl and CD, and then there's another option, the 2nd deal option, and there's a 3rd deal option, which is CD only. And they will all be linked below. And they're designed just to help move old stock, make some space for the new releases, because I have limited space here, and I also need funds. I've got bills. The walls are about to do this at the door again. So I always need cash flow. so that's the other reason for them. Can't be any more honest than that. Otherwise, I think that's it. The CD that I was playing has stopped, but I was just listening to that, which is Howard Stelzer and Richard Young's This Is It. Richard kindly sent me this recently. Finally got to it. I think I played it about 3 times now. Howard Stelzer is the person, I think it's the same person, who helped edit this book, the book on RR Ron, or Ron of RR Records, or Records, a label you might be familiar with from America if you were ever interested in kind of junk noise, dada, electronics, that kind of music. I've still got quite a number of records and CDs from that label from the 90s, when we used to be in touch directly and we used to trade records ourselves. If you're familiar with this label, it was a good one. And I say was because I think it's kind of scaled down now. Ron just focuses on his shop and taking it easy, I think. But yeah, really good book put together by Franz de Waard of Corn Plastics. Recommend it if you're interested in that kind of music, you know, or non-music. Also, talking of non-music, comes with an anti-record, half a flexi. Good for this weather, like 30 degrees. Can't do much else with it. The other thing I've been playing recently, just to round things off, this looks like an old 4AD record, but it's actually the new or the latest album. I think it came out earlier this year by Schrottersberg, a Polish group, or Schruttersberg, and I'm probably still mispronouncing that. Great album, kind of contemporary post-punk inspired group that infuse their sound with different ideas. Sometimes, I think on the last album there were some Indian flavors on at least one song, and here that you can hear some I don't know, it sounds like something you would expect from Muslim gauze or something, some kind of tribalistic like Middle Eastern drum patterns or whatever. Sorry if that sounds ignorant, but you know, I can't say where specifically. Like Moroccan. You can imagine. You know, I know that's Africa, but yeah, those kind of flavors are in this record as well. They work magnificently as well. Really nice. There's one song that's got kind of metal growly vocals, which doesn't quite work for me because I don't like that kind of vocal style. You know, it's very hard for me to take that style seriously. But everything else on this new album is wonderful, and I'll be writing about that when I get a chance. I haven't had much chance to write anything much in recent months because of the aforementioned reasons. But I'm starting to get back on track. I started even writing some more reviews a few days ago, and a few more even went up on Adverse Effect last week or the week before. I'll put a link to that as well, and maybe that's where I'll round things off. If you want anything reviewed at Adverse Effect, just look at the reviews, the kind of material we review. I say we because there's Steve Pescott. I need to send him some more stuff. It's not only myself. I'm always happy for other people to contribute as well, but nobody ever seems to want to, you know. So anything that kind of fits in with the general scope of Adverse Effect and my labels and everything else is welcome. Not metal. Not metal. It's not really a place for that. But you know, and nothing too indie either. So or alternative rock or whatever you want to call it. Nothing too mainstream. So although I'm not anti-mainstream, far from it. I like certain artists and groups who are very much part of the mainstream. Can't get any more mainstream than David Bowie, can you? Or who else? David. Who did I say? David Bowie. Whatever. Massive Attack. I like them as well. Radiohead. So It can't all be Crank Sturgeon, as much as I love Crank Sturgeon. And he put on a blinding show in Krakow a number of years ago. I've seen him twice in Krakow. The last time I saw him, is his name Matthew from Crank Sturgeon? Matt. He asked me to join him for his show, but I politely refused. It's definitely it would have definitely taken me into the discomfort zone, you know. So no, I'm happiest doing vocals with a lot of noise supporting me and hopefully drowning me out. So there we go. On that note, Splintered should be doing something again next year, and we are playing in London again next year as well with Kleistwahr and somebody else to be confirmed. I wrote to that person a few days ago, and it being the last week of school holiday, maybe he's away with his family, but I'll chase him again next week. So watch this space. Hopefully I'll be able to divulge more next time. In the meantime, I'll finish my tea, which is now completely cold. And I'll be back here again soon. Links below. All support welcome. Thank you very much. And I'll be here again in another few weeks, probably. So cheers. Bye.